Revenge value is an invisible counter that most humanoid-sized bosses have in Kingdom Hearts 2. First coined and fully documented on the internet by Japanese player Ahirun255, revenge value is a core mechanic for many of the fights in the game. The invisible revenge value counter works as such. A boss has a set revenge threshold assigned to them, and a revenge counter which starts at 0. Each time Sora lands an attack on the boss, the revenge counter will increase a certain amount depending on the attack. Once the counter is past the revenge value threshold, the boss will enter forced retaliation and strike back, while their counters drop to 0. If the boss recovers from your attacks and their revenge value threshold isn't hit, the boss will also have some sort of normal retaliation and continue attacking. In this case, their revenge value will also drop to 0. This is a primary reason why Sora cannot infinitely combo bosses, or why bosses can't randomly break out of your combos. It's also how loops on bosses work. By hitting the boss's revenge value the same way every time, we can predict or force a certain type of retaliation. With this in mind, let's take a look at a few examples. Lingering Will has a revenge value threshold of 25. Each ground hit adds 1 point to his revenge value counter, guard break adds 2, and explosion adds 6. Here I do 2 full combos. Each combo has 4 hits followed up by guard break and explosion. The second combo's explosion adds just enough revenge value to barely push it over the threshold, so Terra uses forced retaliation. Anticipating this, I'm able to dodge his next attack. In this next example, I hit Roxas's revenge value in the air with thunder, and this triggers his aerial forced retaliation, which is the overhead spinning attack. You might have seen speedrun strategies abuse this knowledge by purposely hitting his revenge value in midair and then forcing him to attack this certain way. There's a bit more to the Roxas fight than just this, as his patterns can change depending on how the fight proceeds, so just take that as an example to illustrate how revenge value works in action. For casual play, understanding the existence of revenge value can often help you deal with challenging humanoid-sized boss fights. Bosses will always retaliate after the same number of hits. Having that sort of knowledge is useful for anticipating certain attacks. Some bosses may also have easier attacks to deal with if you don't activate Forced Revenge, so it might be smarter in certain cases to actively avoid hitting their revenge value. It's important to note that revenge value often doesn't exist on the bigger non-staggerable fights, and some fights operate slightly differently without any use of revenge value. There are also multiple ways to bypass or ignore revenge value on certain fights. I plan to cover those in a future video, but for now this should hopefully suffice. If you want to know more about the intricacies and numbers behind revenge value, I have linked in the description to a blog composed by Ahirun255 on this subject. The list includes all the small details like how much revenge value a certain attack adds or what the revenge value threshold is for each boss.